Playing by Ear. I'm Kyle.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Doug.
Each episode of this podcast, one of us or a guest will bring an album they love to be presented and analyzed track by track to explore what makes it special and why they think it's not just worth playing but replaying. This episode, I'm bringing The Innocents by Erasure.
I'm really glad you picked this because I have not listened to a whole lot of Erasure, but I have listened to a whole lot of Depeche Mode, which is their closest cousin musically. So it was really interesting for me as someone who's a big fan of that band to do the kind of compare and contrast in my head. So yeah, we'll talk more, I think, about the connection between those two bands as we go. But I think this is a really fun opportunity to delve into, like, as you said, I think last time we haven't done any like 80s synth stuff. And there's a whole world of this type of music that we have not touched on yet. So this is great.
Yeah.
We can go to the first thing, which is always, why did you pick the album? So let's start there.
Exactly. So I think I was going for a genre we haven't hit yet. That was one of the things. I mean, we haven't hit speed metal either or classical music, but and those aren't necessarily genres that I love. Either a synth, to be honest. I don't love synth, but I do like it, and there's definitely stuff out there that really hits home with me. This particularly was one of the first things, along with Depeche Mode, one of the first things I heard as a kid, and really enjoyed it. And I just thought it would be a cool place to sort of start our synth adventure. I'm sure we'll get to other ones on this podcast. And yeah, obviously there's some experience I have with it, which I'll go into, but just knowing it and liking some of it just made me want to pick it. Pretty simple.
There you go. So we can talk about our personal experience with the album. Aim, we haven't heard from you yet, so let's.
Yes, I am here. I think that we heard these songs, at least a couple of them, when they came out, which was 89 maybe, the singles. 88, 89, the singles. That definitely, the track, the Chains of Love. But other than that, this is not really an album that I would have ever gone into, really.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton of experience with this. And I'm not particularly drawn to synth, I think. So, this was a little bit of work for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, as I mentioned, like, I have a lot of experience with Depeche Mode, and Depeche Mode's first album, at that time, Vince Clarke, who is the big creative force behind Erasure, was part of the band. They parted ways after that.
Speak and Spell.
Yeah, Speak and Spell. That's the one that has Just Can't Get Enough on it. And you can tell, like, his influence, like, that album does not sound like any of the stuff Depeche Mode really did after that. When Martin Gore took over as their songwriter. Vince Clarke was also part of another 80s synth band called Yaz. Their two big songs I think it was called Situation and Don't Go are the two big songs from that band. So, like, he has a very, like, clear sound that you can immediately, like, I understand who this guy is as a writer. So through listening to a lot of Depeche Mode, I had some osmosis of Erasure, in particular the two big hits off of this album, which are Chains and the first one,
Little Respect.
A Little Respect. So those were the two huge ones that I knew. But other than that, like, I didn't know any of the other songs from this album. So it was one of those things that was always out there going, like, I basically know Depeche Mode's entire catalog. Why haven't I touched on Erasure yet? So this is a good chance to, like, actually go and visit, like, their cousin.
Yeah, so obviously I have some personal experience, or I wouldn't have brought it. So like Amy said, Chains of Love, it was on the radio, it was on MTV in 88, and I liked it so much. And the thing is at the time, I didn't really know a lot of synth. I knew Speak and Spell, actually, Depeche Mode album. A lot of the music that I got pre-86, 87 was from my cousin Ryan. Whatever he had, I kind of got into. and he was way into Depeche Mode, or at least that Speak and Spell album, and that kind of got me into the sound. And I think that I discovered Erasure on my own just by the time we were in late 80s, as I was getting more into the Guns N' Roses and the Motley Crue and all that. I heard Chains of Love in the video, and it just really caught me, and it made me go out and buy the cassette tape. And I listened to it. I listened to the first side of it over and over again. In fact, I don't know that I ever listened to the second side because the first side I thought was just one of the, 5 songs that I'll get into how I feel about them. But I really liked the first side. I never flipped it over. So, yeah, that's my experience. I remember listening to this one on road trips to Vegas, Amy, as a kid, and everywhere we'd go, I'd always have it because of these first 5 songs. So that's kind of why I picked it, is just because I like these so much. But so this was fun, flipping over the tape, if you will, and actually learning the other 6 songs. I guess we're not really counting the instrumental, but yeah, just really experienced with the front part of this album.
Very cool. All right, so then time for overall thoughts and impressions. Amy, you're up first.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this album feels very dated. Like, there's not much of this sound that still remains. And so, it kind of was born in the 80s and died in the 80s as far as I'm concerned. Like, you can hear like 60s, 70s influences throughout music now, but I feel like this is very dated to me. But there are definitely aspects of it that are strong. So for me, the negatives, I'll start there. It's very repetitive. The backing tracks to me are just so distracting from the good stuff, which is the lyrics, and he's got great vocals and really good melodies, which is always, every podcast I talk about the same thing. I'm like, is it melodic, and are the lyrics good, and how do the vocals sound? But I just find that on some of the tracks, the backing tracking is just so distracting, and that's hard for me. But that said, there's some really good gems on this album, and my scores aren't terrible. I just overall, it's hard for me to dive in because I'm so distracted. So I'll leave it there. I mean, I've got more to say on each track, obviously, but yeah.
See, I suspect it's interesting because I thought you would like this more than that monologue would suggest, because you've been walking around the house, as have I, kind of like humming some of these things.
Well, yeah,
because they're catchy.
It's super catchy, and I did like it. It started to feel like work at the very end, so I worked on my tracks, and then it took me so long to finish because I feel like it's a strong start, and then it really tapers off to me. So maybe, Kyle, it was a good thing that you didn't flip that cassette tape over, at least not the last few songs for me. But what else I was going to say? Oh, the reason that you heard me hearing it so many times was because I thought when I first listened, every track, and this is not how it lasted, but every track sounded so similar to me. And I think it's because of the looping of the synth in the background. It's like my brain just listened to that and I couldn't hear the rest. So I had to listen a lot. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there's some really catchy parts. My score's not bad. I mean, that's just like kind of my criticism of the album.
I just noticed it more than other albums we've done in the past, of like both of us walking around the house, like humming or singing a little, like, piece of it. And I thought the fact that we were both doing that so much would be an indicator of a higher score. But I like this. For me, 80s synth is kind of a happy place. Like I grew up in the 80s too, so that this sound was everywhere. But I do disagree, Amy. I don't think it went away at all. I think it's actually very influential. So like I'll end up listening to a lot of modern stuff with our daughter, and so she's listening to like Sabrina Carpenter and Taylor Swift and all that stuff. And there's a lot of synth in what they do. Like Sabrina Carpenter in particular. It's like, what if you took kind of a Dolly Parton-esque kind of voice, and it's like a lot of synthy backing tracks. So like, or you went through the aughts, you had like the Killers and bands like that were like, we're just, you can tell we fell in love with the 80s and we're bringing it back. So this synth sound does come back, but rarely do you hear anything that's this synthy, like where everything is synthy.
There's
maybe
like
it's
no
just
guitar.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah, and I think maybe it's just like I'm not necessarily drawn. Like I never really listened to the Killers, and so maybe it's just my particular taste kind of drowned out those other types of music.
Well, you're definitely more of you want a more earthy, singer-songwriter.
Yeah. I need like my Carole King.
Yeah.
And put some synth behind her. Let's see how that goes.
So to my overall thoughts and impressions, I do like this album. I think the best way I can describe this, I realize this is a dramatic oversimplification, is that I realize this is like a dramatic oversimplification, but Erasure is a major chord and Depeche Mode is a minor chord. That's basically how I can sum this up. Like, this album is much more bright and poppy, and like the melodies are sweeter and more major chord. And Depeche Mode is overall gloomier. Again, a huge oversimplification because both bands go to these different places. No band's that homogenous, but there's definitely like a noticeable difference in their approach to this fairly similar sound. But yeah, a lot of these melodies are, as you said, they're real catchy, and it almost doesn't matter how you back them. They're gonna that melody is gonna work. Like, you could easily cover these songs in a different way, and they would be just as compelling. So I'm excited to dig into this. So yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'm gonna give you my overall thoughts.
Right, of course, yours.
So the first half the album did hold up for me completely. Some I think I even maybe like better now. Some maybe a little worse, but that first half good. Second half was new, so we'll get to that. But I think overall it kind of is what I remember it. I think I kind of comment kind of on a blend of what both you guys said. It does feel very dated to me, but at the same time, Doug, you're right. There's bands like Killers and even Muse that very heavily use. Amy's given the Muse face. But
I almost said Muse a minute ago.
Yeah, that's Amy vomiting, in case anyone out there wants to imagine what it is. So, but yeah, I think that there is influence now. I just don't think you hear it this much where it's just like all synth in your face. There's a little guitar, which I'll comment later on. I love the backing track, Amy, you said. I think that's so, and I'll blend it into what Doug said about Major. It just sounds very clean and nice on the ears overall. So I liked the backing track, and it's interesting what you said, Doug, about the Depeche Mode major-minor comparison. Yeah, you're totally right. I never thought about it, but this, I know that this is a very major album. I mean, there's minor songs in there, there's minor parts, but it's all very like C major bright. It's not very dark and like, it's still emotional major, but it's very major. So yeah, that's about it for now. I think we can get moving.
Okay. So then we're on to the first track, and I think it's Amy's. So Kyle, take us into it.
Yeah, so just a quick upfront here. This album came out April 10th of 88. It hit number 49 on the top 200, went platinum in the US, which means it sold 1 million copies. Pretty sure it did well in the UK and other places too. All of the songs were credited to Andy Bell and Vince Clarke, so I'm pretty sure that... I think Andy Bell wrote most of the music. I'm guessing even the melody also, and Vince Clarke contributed the lyrics, but I don't really know specifics on that. Produced by a guy named Stephen Hague. He's done some other stuff. I believe I saw he did like Blur. I forget, but he's done some other stuff throughout his career, and it kind of started in the early 80s and has been doing stuff. I don't know if he's alive now. I didn't look that far, but he definitely did stuff in the 2000s. And I think we're ready to get this kicked off here. So, Amy, we're going to get the first one with you. The first song is the lead-off track called A Little Respect.
I try to discover a little something to make me sweeter. Oh, baby, refrain from breaking my heart. I'm so in love with you. I'll be forever blue. That you give me no reason why you make me work so hard. That you give me no, that you give me no, that you give me no, that you give me no soul. I hear you calling, oh baby, please give a little respect to and if I should falter.
And this song is 3.5 minutes, 3:32. This was the third single on the album that came out a few months after the album was released. So this was the third one. It was very popular. It came out in September of '88, and it got to number 14 here in America. Go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, this is a good, strong opening track. I don't know that it feels like a typical opener, and I don't know why, but it at first I was like, why is this the opening track? I don't know what makes more sense in that position. But it jumps right in, and it's very catchy and like move your head, dance alongable to it. I think it's strong. I wrote down, I'm not crazy about the drums. But I thought it was like very recognizable towards the end of my listen. I didn't think that there was a lot to it. It really does repeat itself quite a bit, but I like it. It's catchy, it's interesting, and it's fun. And this is one of the ones I was singing along in the house. I don't remember hearing the song as a youngin',
Really?
but I'm guessing that I probably did. It probably was on my top 10 list and things. I know Chains of Love. I don't remember hearing this one, but I must have. Like, if it was that high on the charts, I couldn't remember. But yeah, this is a good, strong one for me.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is one of the songs they're most known for, so not surprising. You know that I think we all recognize why it was a hit, right? It's catchy. You know, again, very bright, like C major kind of song, as you said, Kyle. It has this thing. I mean, the album, like the album cover is a stained glass window. They're kind of going with this like religious.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the album is a gospel album, but like there's like hints of this. Like they're kind of dipping their toe into religious imagery or thoughts, or, ideas for this album. And so this song talks about that a little bit, talking about religion or reason. You give me no soul is the thing they repeat over and over again. But I like how they are able to kind of bounce up and down kind of the key they're working in. So like, for example, that repetitive part that like, that you give me no, that you give me no, that you give, they kind of go up, down, up, in like stages for that part. So this song really kind of goes up and down melodically, which I always really like when a band is able to kind of really say like, we're using the entire musical staff to get this melody across. So it's really cool. And like, yeah, that dance beat, like this, like immediately hits you with like, let's get out on the dance floor and like, clap our hands like over our heads, really just, that's something Erasure I think tends to do, way more, like I said, than Depeche Mode. Like this is the major chord, like we're having a party, kind of vibe. So yeah, I enjoyed this one quite a bit.
Awesome. This song is really sweet on the ears. It's just such a beautiful blend of just the instrumentation and the melody and that major sound. There is some acoustic guitar in there. I never really noticed it before, but when I'm listening with my headphones, I can kind of hear it's really quiet, but there's some acoustic happening. I think that just the chords are really nice. And it kind of does that throughout the verse with different modulations of a chord where it kind of goes to I think it's like a 4 back to a 1, 4 back to a 1. I think the production is really good. I agree, Amy. Like this is a great way to start it because it's so good, but I don't know that it feels like it should be the lead-off track. So I kind of agree with what you're saying, even though it's still really good. The placement seems maybe odd. I don't know. I feel like the song kind of builds as it goes. I really like the drums. It kind of comes in with that boom, 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 just kind of a little slow and dancey, and I really like it a lot. Going back to the album cover and religion, I never really realized it before, but there's definitely some songs on this album that have sort of more of a religion vibe. This song particularly is an LGBTQ anthem, which I didn't realize until I started doing some research, which holds a special place with me, with all of us know people. And it's symbolizing just give a little respect, like accept me, like, and I really love it. I think that it's great.
Yeah, and just to jump in on that, like Vince Clarke is gay, but one of the things I noticed about this is this album is full of like love songs and things, but they're not. He kind of deftly writes them in a way that's like could be anybody about anybody, regardless of who you are, your orientation, it's just a person and another person. So like it's really, really smart. So like he makes this like this is about universal feelings of longing and love that we all feel. So
there's not really pronouns in it.
No.
You don't know who he's singing to.
Yeah, it could be his kids singing about him or something, right? It could be anything, which is really great. But it ended up being that, where it's sort of this anthem. But yeah, I totally agree with you guys saying. Overall, I mean, this is one of the ones I knew it because I had the album and it was in the first side of the album, but I think I knew Chains of Love and A Little Respect also. So yeah, great way to start the album. Let's do some rating.
I thought there was like a little bit of minor in the verse too, but I don't know. It just sounded like...
Baby, refrain from breaking my heart. That's kind of minor-y.
Once in a while,
would you open your arms to me is what I underlined. We can make love, not war. And I don't know if it like
that is definitely we can make love, not war. Like that's there's a minor chord in there for that moment, but the majority of the song is major. But you have to. I think that always builds a little tension into a song where you go, we're going minor for just a second, and then it resolves into a major. Yeah,
it's just very, to me, it's very pleasing. Minor chords are always going to do it for me. And so I just tend to be able to like recognize those. And maybe that's why the album overall, like even though I like it, maybe I don't love it because it's not particularly minor.
It's not minor enough. That's great. I love it. That's how, I feel about the way about a lot of music. This, I don't know. There's minor chords in there. I think minor is amazing, but it really takes that major to contrast back to the minor. Because if you just do a minor chord and there's no major to let you know you're in the minor, you just never know. So this is mostly major with some minor.
And I don't even know how I know what minor is because I'm not a musical theorist at all, but I can feel it.
You always know what it sounds like when you hear it. Yeah, I mean, all you're doing is a chord is a 1-3-5.
No, I understand the concept of it, but I don't know how my ear can discern.
It's like the happy, sad thing. I think most people that listen to music, they couldn't tell you, but they can sort of, their brain knows what's happening.
I think it would be interesting maybe in one of these podcasts, and you could cut this out because it's boring, but like play, like this is what, because we talk about this a lot. I don't know that everybody that listens knows this.
Yeah, like we tried that with Sophie. If for some reason her mic wouldn't pick up her guitar, like I have a keyboard I could maybe bring in next time. I could be able to play, at least hopefully the mic would pick up the sound of me playing these notes to
or you can
illustrate
drop
a point.
Something in after.
That's true. You can always edit something in.
All right, so let's do some ratings. Amy, go ahead.
This is high for me. It's an 85. And I think, Kyle, I've started kind of using your language of like anything above an 80 is like pretty strong. I think that's like, we've started to come up with our own like language.
Little systems,
on the pod. Yeah, so it's kind of fun. But yeah, 85.
93. I really like this.
Yeah, this one's super high for me. This is a 97.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the second song. All right, so the second song on this album is called Ship of Fools.
I can't believe what is happening to me. My head is spinning. The flowers and the trees are encapsulating me, and I go spilling. He was the baby of the class, He really didn't know that 1 and 1 was 2, 2 and 2 are 4. He was the baby of the class, He really didn't know that, really didn't know that. Oh, what a poor soul. Do we not sail on the ship of fools? Why is life so precious and so cruel? I close my eyes and I try to imagine.
This was actually the first single off the album that did not chart in the US, so I don't think anyone knew it, but it was popular in the UK. The song is 4 minutes and a second. And I will just say that this single was actually released in February of '88 before the album came out. So this was they really wanted to launch on this one as the one, which, eventually there were other singles that were more popular. But go ahead, Doug. What you got about Ship of Fools?
I was going to just ask, is this the first single then?
This was the first single, yeah.
Okay, so Chains was second.
Chains was second, which
Interesting.
We'll get to. Yeah. And
okay. I mean, that happens a lot, too, where it's like they release a song, it doesn't do so great, and then it gets popular. Like Long Day with Matchbox 20 was not popular at all. Push came out, and then Long Day like picked up steam. So yeah. Anyways,
it happens sometimes. You wonder like what is the thought process into saying this should be the single. And I question that here because I'm not crazy about this. Like I would never have listened to this album and thought this is it. This is the hit single. It's okay, but like this actually, there's a lot of early Depeche Mode that sounds a lot like this. Like this is the more minor key one for Erasure here, but it's kind of slow and kind of gloomy. So it's not a bad song, but there's nothing about it that like grabs me and goes like, yeah, man, everyone's going to be bumping this out of their car window. I don't exactly know what it's about. Like this person is, again, trying to like, he's talking about a person. You were the baby of the class. You were so young and so uncertain. Suffer little children. Like, I don't really understand what he's trying to say about this person who I guess may be gone or dead. This one just doesn't all come together for me. Again, not a bad song, but just like it's strange. Like I found this very strange. It almost put me going like, well, like I said, Depeche Mode has a lot of songs like this, but they're better at this kind of thing. But even then, like for them, it would probably be like, a deep cut, not, one of the hits off of their albums. So a little more perplexing on this one.
Okay. I agree about the lyrics. I don't know what he's talking about, but we know me. I'm not always paying attention to the lyrics. Otherwise, I disagree. I absolutely love this one, and I forgot how much I loved it until we started going through this album. I think the placement is good. I think it's slow, so it almost feels like it should be later in the album, but I think it's one of the stronger ones, so I'm glad they put it second. I really like the three parts. The verse is good, but that pre-chorus where you're the baby of the class, I love that melody, and more particularly, the chorus melody for me is really top-notch in the top 5% of like chorus melodies. Why not sail on a ship of ooh. It's just so minor and so melodic, and I can just sing that all day. So I really love it. The lyrics are just kind of okay in the verses. It's kind of, and even the baby of the class, like I get that. Like I don't really know what he's talking about. So I can see how people that are way more into lyrics than me, which is most people, are going to kind of question that. But the melody and just the sound and the blend of his voice with just the overall music that's going on, this is just stellar. I just really like this one a lot.
I'm curious to see where Amy comes down between the two of us.
would you like to guess?
I assume it's closer to me in general, because I think in general you're going to be less up on this album than I am. But
I think it's going to be higher. I think you're going to really like this one because of the melody.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong melody. I do like it. I think it's like slightly less than the first one. But there are really strong parts. That baby of the class, that just is like an earworm. And then the ooh, like whatever that part, I thought that's really catchy. And so I did find myself humming this one a lot. I thought, his voice is so interesting. You don't really hear that like deep vocals. Like I don't know a lot of artists that sing like that I don't know, you're thinking.
Well, this is a very 80s sound to his voice, right? Because like one of the things you don't associate with the 80s is a lot of the raspy stuff that you like.
Yes.
Like somewhere like along the way, like the John Fogertys and the John Plants stopped doing this stuff, or Robert Plant stopped this, and it picks back up again in the 90s where you get like Eddie Vedder going like, but in the middle, like a lot of the 80s, like even the one-hit wonder bands and stuff, it's very clean. Like the vocal, it's a really, think of like, I don't know, even shit like Kaja Gugu, like Too Shy, or, like all of these songs, like it's not crooning, but it's a really like pure tone to the voice that kind of complements the, impossibly clean song or pure tone of a synth that's always going to have, right? Because it's digital. So yeah, Vince Clarke's voice right here is like exactly in that mode. Danny Elfman and Oingo Boingo, like all of those vocalists do this, and it's you don't really hear much of this anymore either.
I mean, I don't think he's doing anything. I think it's just his voice. Like I don't think it's put on.
No, it's not a put on.
Yeah, exactly. It's very. It's just interesting to me. It's just I think it stands out in some of the tracks. Some of the other tracks I kind of could do without it, but I do like it on this one. It's just very different. I was annoyed at the music in the background, and but I like it. I do like it a lot, and I like that the lyrics are so confusing because I was really trying to figure out what the fuck he was talking about. To me, I think he might be talking about himself.
Yeah,
He's saying
fool,
that he's the fool, and or not even fool. I think it's just that he's the baby of the class, and there's a lot of naivete there. Like he just doesn't know how to navigate, and that's why he's on the ship of fools. Because who's driving? Who's in charge? I'm just a baby. I can't be like figuring this life out, and so that's kind of where I went with it. But I don't understand like every part of it. But I did think it was like kind of interesting. Yes.
I was Kyle. What time signature is the song in?
4/4 all the way.
It really all
the way. Yeah.
Because it got me confused because some of that backing track was kind of loopy, and so I was like, "Is it 4/4?" So anyway.
I mean, I thought the backing tracks were so loopy in the whole fucking thing.
Oh,
like,
I don't mean loopy in terms of the. I mean, yes, they are looped in that they repeat. I mean, it was like
okay,
like
what are you doing?
like kind of like what? Whoa! It was
okay, like a waltz almost.
It was disorienting.
Okay.
Yeah. So what the time signature was?
What time signature is a waltz?
3/4.
3/4.
That's like
Or
bump. Okay.
So not the okay.
Not this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, I like this one. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
I gave this scores. I gave this a 75.
Okay. This one's really high for me, not as high as the first 93.
I'm an 83.
All right. We are moving on here to the third song on the album. This one is called Phantom Bride. It's 3 minutes and 32 seconds. And I'm going to get us moving here. So growing up, this was actually one of the ones one of my favorites. I think it's because there's the two like really big ones, A Little Respect and Chains of Love, which we'll get to. But Phantom Bride was kind of the other upbeat, major-y, sing-alongable one. So really like this one growing up. I actually don't think I like it as much now, but I still really like it. It's just not one of the like the top ones. I really like the melody in the verse. She was in dum 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 dum. That's really good. And then the chorus is it's good, but I don't love it. The Don't You Cry sections, I think it kind of got old for me after a while, but it's still solid. I guess I don't really have that much to say about this. Looking at the lyrics to the song, I feel like I looked at the lyrics and it has something to do with maybe someone having a baby really young and living out on the road. I'll let you guys go into, or not on the road, but like your rented room and like you had to move out or maybe not being accepted. I'll let you guys go into that. But yeah, overall, this is a strong song. Again, not at the top, but definitely not near the bottom either.
Yeah, I'm opposite of you. I think I do like the chorus, which is odd for me because I don't feel like that's a typical, like, it's very 80s. But I like the Don't You Cry, Don't You Cry. I like that part. Is it short? How many minutes is it? Because it doesn't have a lot to it.
3.5.
Did you just say?
About, yeah, 3:32.
3.5. Okay, because there's really only 2 verses, I think, and then it just kind of repeats. So I think thematically, like lyrically, maybe more to the story would have been helpful. But yeah, this song's okay. It there's some parts that sound really pleasant. The end of the verses as it goes into the chorus, I thought was good. It is kind of a bummer of a song. So it felt like the theme of the song and, you know, the pregnancy and she's crying and sad about where her life has ended up doesn't really match the like upbeatness of the song, and so that was kind of a disconnect to me. There's a part that sounds very Disney Electrical Parade to me. It's after the second verse. It goes into something in the background that's very. I don't remember. It's so hard for me to remember all the little pieces, but I did write that down. It's not a good or a bad thing. It was just like it sparked in me. I was like, that sounds like Disney. And yeah, lyrically, I mean, yes, I agree. I think there's a pregnancy there. And I think they're maybe dreaming of a life that isn't, like, whatever. I don't know. Doug can tell us more about that. I didn't dive too much into it. But yeah, overall, the song's okay. I don't hate it. It's catchy and yeah.
This is one of my favorites on the album. I really like this. The pre-chorus on this is so good. That, you know, and in her mind she drift away, a secret place to steal away. That like run is really, really strong. Again, perfect. Like we're gonna go into a minor chord as we burst into a major chorus. Like, you know, classic easy move to pull off, and it always works. And I think the chorus here is very catchy. So I really enjoy this. I think lyrically, what he's saying is, this girl got knocked up, and then the guy pieced out. You know, so she's all on her own. The Phantom Bride, right? She didn't get married to the guy.
That makes sense.
He said he could treat her right. He said all the things, right? And then he's gone. So that's what it's about.
Yeah.
But like, for me, melodically, like all of the pieces to this worked really well. I agree with you that like there's a little bit of a repetition. I don't know if it needed a bridge and like one more verse to the end to kind of like put it all together, but still what we got, like this melody rules. And I think like all of this together was really good. There's an interesting little, like, it's hard to talk about instruments because all the instruments are synth. But there's like a higher pitch, like dun, 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 that kind of goes, that is there in that pre-chorus part that I think is really good. Like it builds tension with those higher synthy notes. So for me, I rated this one very highly.
Excellent. All right. Time to get moving with some ratings. Mine's pretty high. I gave this one an 85.
You guys are going to have such high scores. I gave it a 78.
Oh, I gave it a 95. I really like this.
Wow.
All right. Okay. Moving on to the next track. This is the fourth song off the album. This is Chains of Love.
How can I explain when there are few words I can choose? How can I explain when words get broken?
338. This was probably the biggest hit off of it, the one that we knew. Came out in May of 88, hit number 12, so officially the toppest ranking song, at least in the US, on the album. And go ahead, Amy.
I like how this song starts. It like goes right into it, and it's so strong how he sounds like that. How can I explain? Was this the song we were singing this morning?
I think so. That slow part in the beginning before it kicks in.
No, but barely. I mean, it goes right into it basically, and I think that's strong. To me, it's obvious why it's the single. I mean, it's just the catchiest. There's one other song I think that is slightly stronger for me, but it just makes sense that this is the top one. Lyrically, I kind of had a problem with it because I couldn't like the chains of love. Is that the things that are like, to me, that sounds like something that's keeping love together. I'm not sure why we're breaking it. And so
I think maybe he's saying the things that are holding us back.
Yeah, well, that's what I ended up doing. And I did think that this might be about LGBTQ plus messages, because I thought maybe it's like breaking conventions. Like that's a chain of love, is like we don't expect, like that's not, quote unquote accepted. So yeah, maybe there's something there. But yeah, it's just catchy as fuck. I don't have a lot to say about it. I did think it got a little bit too repetitive towards the end. But it's pleasant, it's dancey, it's sing-alongable, it's got a lot going for it. Next.
Yeah, I mean, again, big hit. It's obvious why. Like this is very catchy. I do agree. Like I think that move of having that slow intro, it's very who am I thinking of here? Boy George kind of does some stuff like this too. I think of like Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? Starts with like, give me time, and it's real slow, and then it's not as fast a song as this, but it picks up. All right, same thing here with that How Can I Explain intro before boom, 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 and like we're off again on the dance floor. There's some cool vocal runs in here where he kind of stretches the melody. So like when he's singing the chorus, you go, don't give up, don't give, and he goes, together with it. He goes way high for that part. That's a great like note to stretch for, because it makes the chord a more complex like carbohydrate, as it were. Like, oh, okay, we're gonna do some more like seventh notes and things to reach to places like that. And so I really enjoyed that. It's kind of almost hard to talk about a song that was this big a hit and this popular in a way and go like, why was it a hit? What was it about this one that made it break through? But I think it is that ultimately, you can dance to it, and that chorus is real memorable and fun, and the sentiment is good, right? We'll break the chains of whatever these things are that are holding us back or keeping us from being who we want to be. We're going to bust through those because of love, and that who can't get on board with that sentiment.
Yeah, and I think just the melody overall, some of those things that you said, Doug, about how it pops up in those parts. Together with me in my bed. Love it, love it. Yeah, so this is the one that hooked me. The video, they were like hanging out on chains. I don't know if you guys saw it, but they're like all chained up, kind of floating. I just thought that was cool as a 11-year-old. Yeah, it starts with that How Can I Explain part, which to me is kind of the bridge, because it comes back later in the song before like the final run of the chorus and stuff. So it's almost like they wrote it without that, and then someone decided to throw it into the beginning to make it an intro, which is way cool, rather than if they just would have started with dance floor stuff right away. So it kind of it's giving you like this precursor of what's to come later. So yeah, I like that. I really like the pre-chorus, the talk about the weather, making plans together. That melody line is really hooky. There's this thing that happens where it don't give up, bop, don't. It does these little like bops in there. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's like a vocalist. It's really quiet and you can kind of hear it in the chorus, but it's really nice. This is not my favorite song on the album, but I think that this is like the perfect pop song. I'm actually surprised that tons of people have not covered this one. I don't know that I've ever heard any cover of this. Makes me want to cover it because it's just so strong, and the melody and the chords and the lyrics and everything is just so relatable. And I mean, it would really work today. And most people that are 15 years old don't know this song, but I think this one could come back. Yeah, that's about it for the Chains of Love for Kyle.
I would love to hear just a reimagining of this album without the synth.
Like an acoustic guitar,
like
or even
an
just
acoustic arrangement of this album.
Yeah.
Maybe cover, maybe him. I don't know. Anyways, it's to me, right, for my score?
Yeah.
It is an 85.
88.
All right, and I gave this one a 95.
Okay. You guys are going to have high scores.
Well, we'll see. We're going to go to different places coming up soon here. All right, so we're at the 5th track. This is the end of the last song on the first side of that tape that I had. This is called Hallowed Ground.
Everybody's intent on killing someone. The streets are closed and intent on being someone. The cold and darkness of a criminal dawn. Wrapped in blankets, gotta keep ourselves warm. A child in the arms of a teenage mom. Who'll be there? Who'll be the next victim of the criminal dawn? Old friends meet on the edge of town, sharing conversations, broken things will soon get better while the children need. Got the world at their feet, not knowing what's around the corner. Are we living for an uncertain future?
This is 4 minutes and 5 seconds. And go ahead, Doug.
I like this one. This one has a lot of gospel elements. There's some other songs on here that do too, but again, the song is called "Hallowed Ground," and you add in these gospel-y sounds. You're hitting those religious themes. This would be I'm not going to pick this album next, but Depeche Mode has an album called "Songs of Faith and Devotion," which also dabbles in, as the title suggests, religious ideas and concepts in a very minor. This was when their lead singer was dealing with a lot of addiction stuff. Like it was a dark place in their career right after their big major hit album. So like it would be very interesting to look at those two next to each other. But again, I'm not picking it, but it made me think of that because again, like both of these bands roughly around the same time are, thinking about, like where do faith concepts fit in for guys in bands like these? Like it's an interesting introspective question. But I love the kind of like dun 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 dun, that kind of beat that kind of is the bedrock of this song that they build off of. I think it almost sounds a little bit like the opening to like Top Gun. There's a little bit of a similar sound to the theme from that, but this is interesting because Vince Clarke, especially in the verses, he stays in these melodic places that are kind of like, fairly narrow on the musical staff. He goes, everybody in town and kill someone. He doesn't quite go up higher and bigger until he gets to the chorus stuff. So I like this one. There's others I like more, but I think in general this is really successful and it is a good change of pace because the last 4 songs don't really quite hit this kind of mid-tempo spot. So yeah, I can turn it over to Kyle.
Okay. Yeah, to me it's kind of more ballady than mid-tempo, but I kind of see it, it's mid-slow. I actually think that the verse melody is pretty standard, but then once there's kind of a pre-chorus built into it where it's part of the verse, but he does that thing where who will be the next victim. That whole part is very beautiful. I love that. And I really like the chorus melody, the old friends meet at the edge of town. He goes up so high and you could just really hear it and it kind of rings some sweet bells. I think that this one's really strong. I don't really get the gospel vibe on this one. I do on some other stuff coming up, which we'll get to. And I think I don't know if I really love the lyrics to this song. In fact, I don't really know what they are. I just hum along the melody. Love the melody, great melody. And I like you said, Doug, there hasn't really been anything like this on the album up to this point. Although, Amy, I want to hear what you say because it does have the same arrangement, the same music, which maybe you won't like. But I just like the fact that this song feels different than anything else up to this point, especially as a kid where I would get through these first 5 songs and really all 5 of them, even though they're stylistically close, like melodically and tempo-wise, they're kind of a little all over the place. I mean, like Ship of Fools and Hallowed Ground are way slower than the other 3. So, yeah, this is good. Not my favorite, but this is a good one.
Did you say this one was minor? More minor? Or just ballady is what you said. Okay.
Yeah, it feels more major, but there's definitely minor elements in there.
It feels minor-y to me. Maybe it's just topically or like thematically. It's darker for sure. I mean, he's giving his commentary, and that the religious aspect of it, the hallowed ground, holy land. I don't know if he's just kind of commentary on like the sadness of life or whatever. Story time of city life is what I wrote down, and it's just kind of a bummer. I wrote down that I thought that this would be kind of just not a fun song to hear live. Like, it's just like, I don't want to hear this. It's kind of down, and to me, it's not very interesting. This is where it took a dip for me. So far in the listen, the score is pretty low. I do like the melody. The old friends meet at the edge of town. I thought that's pretty there. And I thought the vocals are okay, but the background just all kind of sounded the same. And so that was kind of like, yeah, it didn't help the score. But you guys probably loved it. It's 95 for you. Go ahead, Doug.
No, I gave it an 82. Like,
Okay.
I like this, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah, I'm right around there too. I gave it an 84.
And I just lost my page. 83 or 73.
Okay. I think nothing's been below a 70 yet. Yet being the key word. We're going to cross over to the second side of the album here. So song number 6 is directly right in the middle of the album. And to me, it splits the first half with the second half because it's instrumental. So guys, we're not going to give this any rating. We're just going to talk about it. The 6th track is called 65,000. And it is 3:23. I don't have a lot to say about this one. It's groovy. You can kind of feel the beat and stuff, and that's cool, but there's not really much to listen to other than just, the music that's happening. I think that it's a nice transition. I think putting it in here is kind of cool because you're breaking up the album. I probably would have done it at like a minute and a half because at 3.5 minutes, I don't really get through it. I don't really listen to it. To be honest, even after listening to this album. So what I had to do is I have Apple Music, and the only way to listen to this album in its entirety through Apple Music is to listen to all 11 plus a few bonus tracks. And I knew we weren't going to rate this song, so what I did is I actually made a playlist of 10 of the songs, the 10 we're doing, and I removed this one. So my version always went from Hallowed Ground to Heart of Stone. But I did listen to this a few times just to talk about it. And I don't love it. I think if I were to give it a rating, it would probably be fairly low. It wouldn't be like Speed Demon low. But it would be down there. So, yeah, not too much to say, Amy.
Yeah, that's smart to make the playlist. I just kind of listen to all of the songs. I like the final cover. So I was like, okay, I like getting to this point. Not that I loved the cover, but I just like the song. But that's really smart to make the playlist. I don't have a lot to say about this either. It just felt very 80s to me. It felt like you could take a portion of it and use it as like an opening track to like a TV show. That's kind of like the overall feelings of it. Throw that on like
Fresh Prince or something.
Fresh Prince or like what's the Michael J. Fox one?
Family Ties.
Family Ties. Oh, that's better though. That's a better.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So I didn't go into over analyzing it just because this was already starting to feel like work at this point. So I didn't skip it though. I mean, I just kind of let it play in the background.
Yeah, there's not a lot to say about it. It's pretty much just kind of a simple looping beat. My thought on this was like, this is the music for a video game level that takes place in a factory. It's very just like kind of like clanking sounds and like bam, 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 da, da, da. But the one thing that I noticed about it, and this is bad podcaster, Doug, I didn't follow this research all the way down. To the extent there's any words in it, they're chanting this, Pennsylvania 65,000. They're saying. And I stumbled into realizing this just like a day ago. Pennsylvania 65,000 is a song by Glenn Miller in his orchestra from way, way back, which I don't know. I should have listened to it at least to figure out why are they calling out to it. I didn't notice it because I was working on the Groundhog Day episode of Nostalgia Arcanum. So I ran across the Pennsylvania polka, which is, you hear a lot in that movie. That's the, kind of accordion song when that they're playing at the site of the Gobbler's Knob Groundhog Day ceremony. So when I typed in Pennsylvania, this other thing popped up by Glenn Miller. And so I was like, oh, well, that sort of answers a question and then raises another one. But other than that, there's really nothing to say about this particular track as a piece of music. Like, it's just like, it feels like they wrote this probably intending for it to be the backing track for something else, and it just never came together. You know, that's what it seems like. And then they're just like, yeah, we don't really have a melody for this. But, you know, it does, as you said, Kyle, it kind of acts as a divider between the first and second half of the album. So I don't hate it. I don't mind it. I didn't have a problem listening to it, but it's kind of a nothing.
It's kind of like an outfit change in a play. Like,
yeah.
Like the team can
curtains go down. There's just music happening.
They can go pee, take a break, and then the musicians come back on the stage or something. Like, So yeah, we're not giving
scoring
scores. Yeah, I didn't give it a score. Okay.
You said Pennsylvania 65000, which reminded me of the movie Transylvania 65000. That
which I bet is a reference to that song too.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. That's Jeff Goldblum movie from the 80s. So yeah, that's fun. Okay, so let's flip the tape over officially and go on to the second side here. So we're at the 7th song. It's Amy's turn here. It's called Heart of Stone, and it's 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
I'm struggling to remember the melody. What's
I cry for your heart of stone.
Okay. When I wrote this down, I said it reminds me of Just Can't Get Enough, which is Depeche Mode, right?
It is.
Yeah. So,
but by this writer.
Oh, okay.
Right. This is when Vince Clarke was in Depeche Mode.
Okay.
Literally.
So, all right. So maybe he drew on his own writing for whatever song came out first or second. I thought this was just kind of okay. Just like really short, sounded upbeat, but it was like sadder lyrics. The pronunciations were kind of interesting in the song. You could like really hear his like Britishness, like gutter.
Britishness.
Yeah, but I can't remember how he says gutter, but it's very much like what? I didn't write down a lot, and I think that was just because I was kind of over it. The song is just like pretty low for me. There wasn't a lot for me to like really enjoy about it. So sorry.
This one's kind of middle of the road for me too. It's okay. It's not bad. Again, it's pleasant enough, like sweet, like fun, bouncy melody. But yeah, nothing really stands out about this one to me. The chorus is fairly similar to Imagination, which we'll get to shortly. So it doesn't. Yeah, I can see the connection to Just Can't Get Enough as well. It's in I think probably the same set of chords or the same key as Just Can't Get Enough, which is way more catchy than this. I kind of like those bits where he goes like, "Ooh, I lost my sense of passion and direction." Like those are kind of fun. Yeah. But again, this is like right in the middle for me. Like it's okay. It's certainly not a chore to listen to, but it doesn't stand out.
Okay. Just Can't Get Enough is a great song. This one I can get enough of, though. I like it, but I definitely don't love it. I think at this point, it's going to have the lowest rating. Doesn't mean that it's going to get lower later on, or it's not going to get lower later on, but at this point, it's not as good as those first 5. So that chorus, that Heart of Stone part, it's okay, I like it, but I just don't love that they start the song with it because it makes me more sick of that part. By the time you get to the second chorus, you've actually heard it 3 times, which is too much for me. I think that verse part is just kind of cheesy. The so I don't really love that. But there is sort of a little minor pre-chorus turnaround before it goes back to the chorus. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I think that this is lower. It's not, I'd say lower than middle of the road for me, but it's not a bad rating. Yeah, that's about all I got to say about this one.
70.
Amy? Yeah.
70.
80, right on the line, the Kyle line.
The Kyle line. Where do you guys think I am?
Around me. 73, 74, something like that.
I think you're a little higher, but still below 80.
73, Amy. You know me. Very good. Awesome. Okay.
I mean, it's hard to go below 70. Like, even in these songs that I don't really like, I mean, they're still songs, you know?
They're fun. They're fun, well-written songs. Yeah, there's nothing on here that's like, ugh.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I kind of compare it, and this is maybe a bad comparison. So Mountain Goats, there's definitely a few really miserable ones on there, but there was no, for me, nothing up 85, 90. There was nothing that great. It was all kind of 70s mode. So a lot of this album has that. At least you haven't heard me say that yet, but we're getting there.
I don't even remember Mountain Goats. I remember Mike Viola, and I'm like, maybe I want to go back and listen to him again.
I have since.
Yeah,
it's good.
Different albums or that same
that
one?
That album.
I know. I think it's growing on me. Honestly, I feel like I owe Sophie an apology because I think it got But you know what it was is having her explanations and having her analysis of the songs. I think that really helps. It's oh, that's what it's about. And having someone love an album so much and present it in such a way, you have a new appreciation for it. And so, yeah, I want to go back and listen to that one. I don't remember I could not tell you one name of one Mountain Goat song. Sorry.
Something about I feel
Rain and
hardcore, but not that hardcore.
Oh, I like that part. Okay.
I'm hardcore, but not that hardcore.
We should make an album or a playlist of all of the
greatest hits. We should have
greatest hits of our guest songs.
That's very specific.
Anyways.
All
right. We are at the 8th song. Yahoo.
Better that the devil should not be called if you want to wed the devil's daughter. I pray to the Lord on high to set you free. Better you decide to cut him loose and to ride on the cunning line. I pray to the Lord on high to rescue me. No one should go through hard times. No one should live in sorrow. Gotta face the darkest sky, gotta let your head up high. Yahoo, higher, higher, higher. Yahoo, find your way unto the Lord. Higher, higher, higher. Yahoo, find your way unto the Lord.
3 minutes and 48 seconds. And Doug, get us started.
Yeah, we should point out it is Yahoo with an exclamation point. They put an exclamation point on it. I like this song. This is very gospel-y. This is the most gospel-y one on the album. I mean, it's literally doo-doo, da-doo. Everyone claps at the same time. You got a big clap, and then you've got a chorus of, it may just be a million Vince Clarks singing. It may not be an actual bunch of backup singers, but you've got a true gospel-y choir sound to this. This is one of the songs I think Amy and I were most walking around the house kind of singing, bits of. I really just enjoy this this mode for them, this kind of think of another song of similar vein, I guess, would be Faith by George Michael. You've got this kind of a uplifting quality to this, as saying Yahoo, find your way unto the Lord, and it's Yahoo is such a funny word to put to something like that. It would it's not hallelujah or amen, it's Yahoo, a word you would normally associate with cowboys or something. It's really fun, and so There's also some really good patter kind of parts in the lyrics, like because there's a bunch like just before the chorus, that pre-chorus, it's like da 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 da, like that. That's the kind of rhythm of it as he goes through these faster parts, where he's talking faster, basically. And then it bursts open into Yahoo! It's really fun and dynamic. So this is definitely, I think, one of the highlights of the back half of the album.
Okay. Well, so melodically, I think that this is strong. I think that all of the parts are really pretty strong. I think this is where like the lyrics really get me, and it's not that it's like bad. I mean, it's gospelish. It's very kind of church-like. That Yahoo part, I feel like he's in church, like trying to get everyone to come on his side and pray with the Lord kind of thing, which is fine. I don't resonate with it, but to me, it just doesn't really fit the album, I think, is the big part. I mean, I wrote down some lyrics here, which, again, these are fine lyrics. Like, whether you decide to trade your soul for a little of the devil's gold, I pray the Lord on high to rescue me. Those are not the kind of lyrics that I would listen to. That said, I think that they're fine. I think that they're actually really good. But more importantly, and to me, it doesn't fit the album. I think that this could not be here. I think that this could be on an album, playing by an artist that I think it fits, and I think that the rating is going to be a lot higher because it's not bad. The lyrics aren't bad, and the melody is actually pretty good, and the feel is pretty nice. It just is out of place for me. So this is going to be low.
It's opposite for me. I really like this one. I tend to be drawn to songs. There's a Jewel song that's very gospel-y that I like. I love, like, so these songs like work for me, and I don't know why. Maybe there's like a craving in my heart for more religion in my life. I don't know. But I do think it fits thematically on the album. I think he's singing about these, not in the song, but other songs about like common themes of love and loss. And like, I think it fits in is like, set your mind free and don't be like bound by convention or like what you thought you knew to be truths. So I mean, I do think it works. I didn't write down a lot about it. I don't know what happened. I just stopped taking notes, but I just really like it. I think it's so catchy. There's such distinction between the different parts of it. I love the backing tracks of like, you want to clap along to it. I think there's a woman's voice in the background at some point too, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it just all really works. So I think this is my highest score.
The other thing I would say in terms of the lyrics, and I wonder because of their LGBTQ connection, is this the kind of thing where like, well, they're sinners, in a religious dogmatic way. They're not allowed into heaven because of who they are, and so maybe it's like, no, we deserve to be saved too. Like, I don't know if that's something he's writing about. Like, nope, we also deserve grace or something. I don't know if that's a part of it or not. Again, 3 cisgender heterosexuals on this podcast trying to decipher this, but without any real qualifications. But I that did occur to me as I was listening to this. So
that kind of makes sense.
Are we at scores?
We're at scores. Go ahead, Doug.
88.
60. What? 60, yeah.
No, I mean, I heard you. 86.
Told you they weren't all going to be really high.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right, we're moving on here. We're at track number 9. This one is called Imagination. to get us moving. So this was new to me because I probably heard it as a kid. I probably listened to the second half one time. But listening to it now, this is brand new. I liked it. I like this one. It starts off really minor. Those verses are really strong. Like those really dark. It's really dark. It's really maybe one of the only songs that has a really minor verse on this album. So I thought that was very cool. I didn't really like the imagination, like that little pre-chorusy little thing he puts in there. It's kind of a waste. But the chorus is strong and the verses are really strong. So this is going to end up being fairly high. Ames?
Not for me. I didn't like it. I don't like it. It's so repetitive. I actually thought the mixing was poor, that the backing track was a little too loud for me, and it kind of drowned out the vocals a little bit. I liked the melody. There are parts of it that just sounded really cheesy. Yeah, I don't know. I did write down that I liked some of the lyrics, like what do you do with yourself when you're lost on some horizon, taking a hold of yourself when you know the timing's wrong? So there's like redeeming qualities, but just overall the feel of it just didn't work for me, and I don't know how to vocalize that.
Yeah, this one again is kind of right on the line for me. Like there are memorable parts of it that stand out. I think the chorus I wrote, it sounds like to me I can't help to picture people skipping in a circle. Like it's something like da, 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 da. It's really kind of jaunty in the chorus. And I agree with you that whispering thing is weird. Imagination just before it kicks in. It took me a while to figure out he was actually saying the word imagination because like it's so low down. It's like he's whispering something that compels you to kind of listen close. Like, what is he saying? But it's just the word imagination. So yeah, it just feels a little weird of like, get out of my ear. It's strange. So this one's all right. I do agree with you though that the minor verses are that's an asset. Like that he doesn't do that a lot on this album. And I really enjoy that kind of that trade-off between a minor verse and a major chorus. And so I'm with you on that. So again, not my highest score, not my lowest score, kind of again right on the line.
Okay. Some ratings. So there is that 80 line that I always flirt with, and this song definitely flirts with it but doesn't quite get there. So this is a 77 for me.
70.
And I gave it an 80. It's right on the line.
Okay. All right. Good stuff here. We're at the 10th song. This is Witch in the Ditch.
No, I would never step into your shoes, dance in my chamber without you. I'm looking and I'm praying for a place I can dwell in, a place where our love can be true. Yes, it was you, my love, that made me turn around. Yes, it was you, my hair, that turned me upside down. Were we meant to be forgotten? Lay down your sweet head and cry. We're living dreamland tonight. Oh, come only who are faithful. Lay down your sweet head and cry. Enter the valley of night.
345, and Amy, go for it.
Can somebody sing part of this?
Dun, dun, dun,
What
dun,
words?
dun, 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 dun,
Yes, it was you, my love, that made me. Da, 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 da.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble remembering what the
Enter the valley of lies. But,
yeah. So the I guess the point is this song is like super not memorable to me, so it'll be reflected in my score. I thought the backing track was not, I didn't like it. And the vocals sound really good, and he does interesting runs with his voice, and so that's pleasant. It's a catchy pre-chorus that I think is that the pre-chorus. That yes, it was you, my love.
Yeah.
That was a standout part to me. I thought the backing was very carnival-y, and so that was cheesy to me. And yeah, it took me so long to analyze these last few tracks, and so I think that just speaks to, like, at this point it's too similar. The backing, synthiness of it all is just, I've had enough.
This is strange. First of all, you have a song about witches and ditches and nothing about a Dragula, which Rob Zombie would be very disappointed in. But this is like, it's almost like something you would hear where people are dancing the maypole. Like, it's got a Renaissance kind of cadence to it. This like dum 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 dum, like it's got like this like Ren Fair kind of thing without any Ren Fair instrumentation, right? It's still all synthy versions of this. Although I think there's some like synthy trumpets or something towards the end. This is weird. That's the word that kept coming to mind of like, oh, this is just sort of weird. His vocalizations here there's a lot of affectations on his vocals here. He's not sort of singing this straight in his normal voice to me. Like, it's a lot of like there's theatrical kind of flourishes to his vocals here. Again, I think he feels like he's kind of weaving a spell about this like story he's telling, but yeah, it just ended up feeling like, what is this doing on the album? This felt like a strange bit. Like, this felt like this would be at home on like, here's this like collection of Erasure B-sides and things we never released, like, and you'd go like, oh, interesting, what an interesting experiment. But I don't know if it really belongs on the album. I feel like they probably had something else they could have put on instead. I don't despise this, because I think the fact that it's weird makes it kind of interesting, but it's not one I would pull out and be like, oh yeah, let's crank it up, let's put on Witch in the Ditch.
For some reason, and this is not my favorite at all on the album, but for some reason I thought maybe you guys would like this one a lot. I don't know why. I was obviously wrong, but you ended up feeling, I bet our ratings are all going to be very close on this one, is what I'm getting at. So it's in 6/8, which is nice, or maybe it's 12/8. Sophie, if you're listening and you want to correct me, that's fine. 6/8, 12/8, whatever. Kind of got that, waltzy feel. Kind of feels a little ballady because of that. I really like the melody in parts. Like the chorus melody is very hooky. I think the reason that I don't overall love the song is because you used the word theatrical, and that's what I wrote down, Doug, is it feels like they're putting on a performance rather than it's coming out of them naturally, like a lot of these songs. I almost feel like they're going out of their way to make it feel a certain way, which is almost kind of circusy, or just everything you guys said. But it still has a really catchy melody, which helps me like bring up the rating for the song, because I think the melody is always going to be the thing, unless the lyrics are just misery, which they're not at all in this one. So yeah, the fact that it has a good melody, it's not the worst rating, but I don't love it. I don't think I need to go back and listen to this song very much. In fact, I probably will just stick with the first 5, and then of course we'll have the last song, which we'll get to, which I'll give you my opinion on that. But this one is along with the ones of not amazing.
Yeah. So 65.
77.
All right. I think I'm literally right in the middle. 71. All right, we are at the closer here on this Erasure podcast kind of day. So this is the last song, the 11th track. It's called Weight of the World.
Notion. Just once in a lifetime, you need a helping hand. You keep it wrapped up inside. It's like a lethal potion. Whoa, don't take it any further now, baby. Whoa, won't lead you anywhere.
It's 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And go ahead, Doug.
So this one, it's not bad, but this is a little Teflon to me. I had a hard time remembering it. I would, because again, we were listening to this on Apple Music, so you get these like bonus tracks after this. And I forget what the name of the first bonus track is, but I would notice I was listening to that and I would go, wait a minute. Did I hear Way to the World? How does that one go? Like, it would go right out of my brain the second after I heard it. So, again, it's certainly not like, it's not unpleasant. Again, it's not one of those things like, ugh, this fucking thing. It's not that. Like, it's fine. I also think, like, the backing track here is weirdly simple. It's just like, dum, 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 dum. It's very Casio, like an old Casio keyboard. And it's like, if you're going to do things with synths, the trick to making synths work is having different synthesized instruments, like different tones, even if they're not trying to mimic a real world instrument. You need to kind of vary it up in terms of what you're doing, because that's where synths can really come alive, is they can build like tones and things that you might not otherwise hear and do interesting stuff in like musical spaces that are not, your typical guitars or brass instruments or whatever. And so here, where you literally have almost nothing as a backing track of just doop, 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 it's not enough to carry the melody that's on top of it, especially when the melody is not like the most memorable one in the world. So like, it's fine. I just wish, this album went out with a bang, like we've had that a lot. I think weirdly, like you kind of want the last track to like leave you on this great note. We've had a lot of albums somehow where like, it was like, yeah, that one's the last one. They'll kind of peter out with this. I unfortunately, this one gets one of my lower ratings, even though, again, there's nothing like about the song that's like offensive to the ear or anything. It's just, I was having such a hard time even noticing I was listening to it, that's going to have to affect my score.
Yeah, it's interesting what you said about the last track, because you're right. On most of the albums that we've done, unless it's like Led Zeppelin 4 where you go out with a banger, most of the songs, like most of the last songs were not great. And I think when you have it, if there's 10 songs on an album and there's like 9 good songs, then the 10th song is probably going to be really great. You'll throw the second to last will be your bad one. But if you only have like 5 good songs, it's hard to put one of those 5 at the end because you have to wait for it and you have to muddle through so much shit before you can get there. So maybe that's part of the problem, is that even though a lot of these albums we're doing are very good, it's really just like half the album is just very good. I'm looking at our list of Revolver. Revolver's got a really strong ending, but some of these other albums, even ones that some of us liked, like Sha Sha, I don't remember what the last song on that one was. There's just not like this album included. There's not like 9 great songs. It's not as much. So I think that's sort of the syndrome here of what Erasure is dealing with. Is this song? There's really, to me, half the album is very good and half the album is just whatever. I do, however, I feel a little bit different about this one, but I think our scores are going to be the same-ish. I like the feel for this one. It actually feels like the closer. The way that those chords are in the music, even when the song just starts, I feel like I'm slowing down and I'm winding down. It doesn't mean that I necessarily like the song. I'm just saying that it feels like the end of the album. I also have a very hard time remembering this one, and I have a hard time getting through it. For some reason, I would listen to this one and it was the last track. I'd get about 2/3 of the way through and I would just go back to the beginning, which also isn't a good sign. I did get through it eventually. There's really nothing that special. The music is good. The vocals are just kind of there's like a call and answer kind of thing that happens in the verse, which I didn't really love. And overall, I don't think I really loved the vocal melody. I think the chorus was sort of hard to find, even though after a few listens, you knew where it was and what it was doing. It was just not great. And I think Amy, you said something about this where at this point, maybe you said it about, you haven't talked about this song yet, but the last song you said you're kind of witch in the ditch. Okay, I get it. We've done this a lot. I'm kind of over the style. That's kind of how I feel about this one. I've heard 10 other songs with the same sort of style, and melodically, since this one is not in the top 5, I just kind of ignore it. So, yeah, this one's not great for me.
Yeah, it's hard for me. I can't really remember it either. That said, I do think that there's sweet aspects of it. It has a sweet sound, and so it's pleasant in some way. I think the voice sounded good. I didn't really know where the chorus was. So, it's a lot of the same things that you guys are saying. Thematically, I mean, I think it's a good message to end on. To me, it was like releasing that weight, like someone can help you through it, giving, helping someone out. I kind of felt like he was maybe singing to himself in parts, like you've got a lot on your shoulders, like release that weight. And so I think that's a good message. There's some dark themes on this album. And so kind of going out on that note is kind of good. But it's not super strong. It's not innovative. It doesn't sound interesting. Like, so I agree with all the things that you're saying. I think I don't hate it though. So I don't think the last song was much worse. This is kind of like a sweet little ending. That was just fine. Sounds like everything else. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think it kind of blended until it started into River Deep, Mountain High. And then, because I was listening to
there's one between this.
Yeah, no, but I didn't hear that one either. And then it would come to River Deep. And I'm like, okay, I like this one. But oh shit, I got to go back and listen.
Yeah, we should. When you do listen to the bonus track version, at least on the Apple Music ecosystem, there's a cover of River Deep, Mountain High. It's interesting. I think it's one of those songs that's hard to top, though, in terms of the original.
Oh, yeah. So, but it's such a great song. So it's like, it's not a great cover, but it's so good that, you still like the song.
Yeah. Yeah, good call on those other tracks. I just skipped over them every time. I just didn't. I never even... I know that song, but I didn't hear the cover.
Yeah, River Deep, Mountain High has like a very interesting synth opening to it. So they put their own spin on it. Yeah, if you know that song. Do you know that song?
I think so.
River Deep, Mountain High.
Tina Turner.
Yeah. Celine Dion has a great cover of it.
That's why you know it.
Yes. All right, scores.
Is it me?
Yeah.
70.
69.
74.
We're all pretty close. Okay.
All right. We did it.
We did it.
All right.
Woo-hoo.
So time for favorite tracks and least favorite tracks. So Amy, you are up first.
My favorite was Yahoo with A Little Respect and Chains of Love right behind it. And then my least favorite was Witches of the Ditches or whatever.
Witch in the Ditch.
Whatever. Same difference.
Yeah. My top were Phantom Bride and then A Little Respect. We're up there. And then, Chains is real close. And then, my bottom two were the last two tracks. So, yeah.
For me, A Little Respect is the first track was the best, and then Chains of Love a little behind it. Ship of Fools also is an honorable mention. And then Yahoo was definitely my least.
All right. So then it's time for final thoughts, and then we'll do our aggregate scores. So, Amy, what are your final thoughts on The Innocents?
I mean, I think I said it all in my opening, was just like, good melodies, but just overridden by the synth for me. And so that brought my scores down a little bit, I think. I would just really love to hear this in a different vehicle for delivering these melodies would be good. But this, the vocals are strong. I don't really think I'm going to come back to this. I'm not going to dive into other albums of theirs. And so, this was a fine exercise. Thank you for bringing it, but I've had enough.
I think that's just a personal difference between, I think you're not into synth generally.
I'm just not. And no matter how many times I'm going to listen to these things, I'm just not going to love it. It just comes down to like your nature and what you're like drawn to.
Yeah. See, I could listen to all the synth in the world and never get tired of it. Like I really enjoy it. And so, again, as someone who has a pretty healthy background with Depeche Mode, this was really fun to listen to a different band in this same, kind of sonic space. Kyle, I'm curious, have you listened to other Erasure albums besides this one, or is this because of your
Nothing. I think I might know one other song, but basically no Erasure.
Okay. Yeah, this almost makes me want to send you like a couple of like, hey, listen to this Depeche Mode album, see what you think, having listened to this, and then compare it with that. So for me, this was, it was really fun to hear like a different spin on this. Some of these melodies and some of these songs are really good. Like there's a reason this was a big hit for them. You said it was like 49 in the US. It was number 1 in the UK, their hometown. So like I ended up really enjoying this. There's definitely songs on here that I did not know that I'm now glad that I know. So I really appreciated this. And it does make me want to kind of like dip a toe into a few other Erasure albums just to check them out. So, yeah.
Okay. I still think I'm good on Erasure albums. I feel like I got these first 5 songs that will continue in rotation for me until the end of time. Rest of the album I could probably do without, and I'll probably forget it. For me, it was, I think, a little bit of a nostalgia thing. And just the fact that we haven't done this style. So to bring, my own personal nostalgia and the style that, as podcasters here, we haven't talked about it, was sort of the purpose. And I think it kind of holds up. I do think that the style, like Amy said earlier, is a little outdated. Maybe it's just the way that they did it. Maybe it's just major sounding. I don't know. But this album does feel a little bit out. Maybe it's not the style. Maybe it's just that this album does feel a little outdated. But that aside, like I said, I'm still going to love these first 5 songs. It'll hold up for me. The rest of the world, this ain't going to go down in history like Bad or Revolver, as one of, or Four, like Led Zeppelin, as one of these like monster, wonderful albums. But I still think it was pretty good. And I'm glad to bring it to the table here.
Right. Okay, so then it's time for our final aggregate scores. Amy, what was your total?
But before we do that, right, and it's just as I like to put stats out there, and I want to do a little thing before, just so we can see where these land.
Yeah.
We'll look at Amy first. So Amy, I totaled up all your averages of all the podcasts that we have done, and you average at an 80.06 for everything that we do. Now, Jason Mraz it doesn't count because we don't have actual numbers that we put on that. But all the other, well, I mean, how many have we done? This is the 16th podcast we've done, so 15 out of them. So, Amy, your average is an 80.06. Other albums for you that are right around there is the Michael Jackson Bad album and then the Teddy Swims album. That's kind of where your average is. Doug, your average is higher than Amy's. Your average is 81.43, which is right around where Flesh and Blood, Poison album was for you. For me, I'm a little bit lower. Maybe I'm a little critical, but I'm still pretty close. I'm 79.07 is my grand average so far in the Michael Jackson Bad is right around there. So I just want to throw those out there. We're all averaging around 80, so we'll see where this thing lands for us. So go ahead, Amy.
Do you guys want to guess what each person has, just for fun?
Yeah. Let's start with Amy.
I didn't look.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, Amy, you're going to be around 79, right under that average. But 78, 79 is where I think that you're going to be. What do you think, Doug?
Yeah, I agree. I think she's below 80. Somewhere around between 77 and 79. Kyle, I suspect.
Oh, wait, we're not there yet.
Oh, we're not there?
One at a time.
Let's do one at a time. Yeah. So what do you got, Amy?
All right. So it was a little lower than you guys thought, 76.9.
76.9. Okay. All right. So Doug's average is 81.43. I'm going to say that this also is pretty close to that, maybe slightly under. So right around an 80 is where I think that this will be for Doug. What do you think, Amy?
I was going to guess slightly under 80, 79.
Oh, you guys are wrong. It's actually a little higher. It's 82.8.
Okay.
82.8. Okay. And then again, my average is a 79.07. Where do you guys think that I'm going to fall?
Well, since you brought this, I said, and you like it a lot, I think you're higher. You had a few more scores in the 90s or high 80s than we did. So I'm going to guess you're right around 83.
I'm going to say 82.
Okay. It actually just ends up being an 80.4. So just a little over that 80 line for me. And actually,
a few of those later songs brought you down.
It really, it hurt it. So, and the grand average for this album is an 80.03 for us. So right around where Sha Sha was, which was an 80.2. And then the James Morrison album was 80.56. Just Won't Burn was also around an 80, also 80.8. So a lot of these albums, guys, are smacking right around that 80 range, other than a few outliers. They're all right in there in the pocket.
There's something going on, like, psychologically with that 80 number for this group.
I think it's because we're bringing good albums, and like there's going to be a lot of 80s, 90s, but there's also going to be shit, so it just ends up crunching right into where that average is.
Yeah, I think none of us have sought out to either one just go like, well, here's something that I know I really like. It is real weird, and you two won't, the other two won't be into. So for me, I think that's probably why. Like, we're trying to bring things that we think will be good, or at least have a significant percentage of high highs. But it's hard to avoid, the fact that, very, very few albums are like something like Revolver, where they're going to be very, it's the Beatles. They're going to be of course their batting average is high, so
Yeah.
so we'll see how we do. It is time to go to your homework for next time, and it's my pick. And I was kind of inspired, Amy. You're the only one of us so far who has picked any female artists. And so I was kind of like, I should pick a female artist and try and vary up the genre from what we just did. So
Jewel. Doug picks Jewel.
Jewel, no,
Never.
insane. No, but it is an artist you've all heard of with some big hits off this album. So I'm going with Blondie, and the album is Parallel Lines. The two huge songs from this are One Way or Another and Heart of Glass are both off of this album. So those two, I doubt you will know any of the other songs, but it's fun. And it's it's really interesting. At first I was like, oh yeah, I'm picking another 80s album. But then I remembered, no, this album's from 1978, I think. So what's really cool is this band, as you would expect from Debbie Harry and company, who were they were just cool. They were on the vanguard. So there is some synth stuff in here, like Heart of Glass is, more disco-y synth stuff, but there's also very punk elements to this. There's, they're a rock band. And so they're really kind of in the middle of a lot of genres we've covered. And I think there's a lot of fun stuff here. So I'm very curious to get your take on this. I'll talk more about my, connection to the album and my experience with it next time. But I'm looking forward to giving this one a spin. I've been kind of listening to it here and there before going is this the one I want to pick? I'm like, yeah, I think this will be interesting to discuss. So, Blondie, Parallel Lines. That's your homework.
I don't know this band at all. I know those few songs. I probably know a couple others.
Everybody knows those two songs. They know One Way or Another. They know Call Me is the other one. Everyone they have Rapture. They have a few other songs that are people know. But I think Kyle, especially you, I think we'll find a lot to like here because they are a rock band. And Amy, I'm hoping you like some stuff because again, this is a female-driven melodic band. So
it's really short too. It's only 39 minutes, the whole thing.
And it's
12 songs.
But it's 12 songs. I'm trying to remember. I don't think there's an instrumental track or something we would not score.
It doesn't look like anything to avoid unless it's just 12 songs. Nothing looks like it's been added or mixed or anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of little short songs in there. I think Heart of Glass might be the longest one.
This is exciting because I've never done it, and this is an era of music where the Police were big and the Cars were big. So late 70s, this is fun.
This is like a CBGB kind of band. Yeah, they'd be there. That you can tell how influential they are. Again, because I was listening to it and going, oh yeah, I guess we're doing another 80s album. And again, you hear no, it's not. They were ahead of the curve for what was coming. And so I think you'll find a lot to like here. It's a good album. So So there you go. We'll go cover Parallel Lines in a few weeks. So time for plugging. Amy, if they want to find your amazing earrings, where do they go?
You can find me on TikTok, Etsy, Instagram under Momo Bunnies More Co. There will be a link in the show notes.
Kyle, where do they go for your music?
Silver Dork, that's my music. You can catch it anywhere. Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, whatever. Check it out.
And as for me, I am the host of two other podcasts. I've got Nostalgium Arcanum. That is a weekly pop culture retrospective where we cover music and movies and TV, video games, people, phenomena, whatever we want to talk about, whatever the guest is super excited for and nostalgic for, that's what we get into. The other show I'm doing, you go to patreon.com/stillloadingpod because it's one you got to pay for. But it is called Still Muppeting, and every month we do a different Jim Henson-based thing. So as you're hearing this, I believe this is coming out in March, if I've done my math right. And so our episode for that month is The Dark Crystal. So go check that out. Our social media links are all in the show notes if you want to get in touch with us. And of course, if you haven't, help us, spread the word, drop a review. That helps the podcast visibility. Tell a friend, post about it on social media yourself. All of that is valuable. And we really, really appreciate it. So until next time, when we don't have a sign off. So thanks everybody for listening.
Bye.
Laters.